Hi dear children, welcome back to our YouTube class. So today we are going to see your second part of your 7th lesson. What is the 7th lesson topic? Yes, your 7th lesson is about animal world, right? So in the first part we saw what is habitat, right? So habitat is a place where an animal lives naturally, right? So if an animal want to live in that place, so it provides that the food, shelter, and it provides some shelter or food to that animal. So that is why the animal live in that place, right? So habitat is a place where the food, shelter, everything is provided to the animal to live, right? So now in this session we are going to see the body covering of the animals, right? So if the body covering means what? The covering of our body. So our body covering is made up of what? Skin, right? So our body covering is skin. The same way we cannot say all the animals will have same type of body covering. So animals vary, animals differ in their body coverings. So this body coverings are well suited to their environment, or they well suited to their habitat, right? So we saw for example polar bear, right? So the polar bear body covering is made up of material that thereby the polar bear can able to sustain in that polar region, right? So அந்த அனிமலோட பாடி கவரிங், அதாவது தோல், சரிங்களா? ஸோ அந்த தோல் வந்து எந்த மாதிரியான மெட்டீரியலில் செஞ்சிருந்தால் தான் அந்த அனிமலால் அந்த பிளேஸில் சர்வே பண்ண முடியும், வாழ முடியும், ரைட்? ஸோ அந்த பாடி கவரிங்கை பற்றி தான் நம்ம டுடே வி ஆர் கோயிங் டு see, right? So let's see what are the body coverings. So we can say animals, they have different body coverings. Of course human beings body covering is skin, right? So animal body coverings are made up of different materials. So we can classify the body coverings into different names. So scales, skin, shells, feathers, fur, cuticle. So these are all the body coverings that we are going to discuss, we are going to learn today, right? So we can see different animals with different body coverings, right? So first we are going to see about cuticle. So what is the name? Cuticle. C-U-T-I-C-L-E. So cuticle. So cuticle is a body covering of insects. I-N-S-E-C-T-S. So insects like cockroach, grasshopper, ant, and what else you can see here? Bee, right? And then beetle. So all these ant, grasshopper, so all the insects, so their body covering is covered with a material called cuticle. So the body covering of insects are called as cuticle. C-U-T-I-C-L-E, right? So in a 1 mark question they may ask what is the body covering of ant? So you have to answer cuticle. So most of all the insects, பூச்சி, right? So the body covering of the insects are called as cuticle. புரியுதுங்களா? So பூச்சிங்களோட அந்த body covering, இப்போ நமக்கு skin சொல்வாங்க இல்லையா? ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி பூச்சிங்களோட body covering நம்ம skinன்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது. ஸோ அது என்னன்னு சொல்வாங்க? Cuticle, right? So next we are going to see scales. So scales. Yes, C-A-L-E-S. Scales. The second body covering that we are going to learn is about scales. So what are the animals that have scales as a body covering? So animals like fish, and then snake, chameleon, lizards, crocodile. So these animals have body covering as scales. அதோட மேல் பரப்பை வந்து நம்ம என்னன்னு சொல்லணும்? Scales அப்படின்னு சொல்லணும், right? So you can see scales in the fish. So when you buy fish to eat, right? So they used to scrap, right? So sidilgal they will say, right? So that is known as scales, right? So this scales in fish, the scales are overlapped. அது எப்படி இருக்குமா? அந்த மீன்களை பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒன்று மேலே ஒன்று இப்படி இருக்கும், right? So ஒன்று மேலே ஒன்று overlap. So the scales are overlapped. Why it is overlapped? Because to prevent the water entering into the body. So in the madri one mela one irukradanaala the water enna agadu நம்ம body kulla enter agama இந்த scales வந்து தடுக்கும், right? So the fish have scales that is overlapped on each other to prevent the water getting inside, right? And the same way crocodile. So crocodile தோலை யாரா தொட்டு பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா? If you go to a crocodile park அந்த தோலை வந்து wall வந்து hang பண்ணி வச்சிருப்பாங்க. So அதை touch பண்ணி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா it is very very rough. So that is known as scales, right? So this scales they prevent the loss of water. The crocodiles பார்த்தீங்கன்னா mostly பார்த்தீங்கன்னா it lives in the water as well as lives in the on the land, right? So to prevent the loss of water, the scales are attached like that, okay? And then in the snake, so you can see here, right? So the shape of the scales, right? So these are known as scales. So snake also has body covering as scales. So in the snake pathina it sheds the body covering. Tamilla solvaanga illaya paambu thol uriyudunu solvaanga. So upon that scales only what happens, it will remove. So it removes the snake removes the scale from its body. It sheds the outer layer periodically na ஒரு time period, for a time period, and the time க்கு அப்புறமா அது என்ன பண்ணுமா அதோட தோலை வந்து உரிக்கும். அந்த scales will be removed, right? So that is known as molting. So it is called as molting, MOULTING. So molting is nothing but removal of the outer skin by a snake is called molting, right? And also you can see lizards, chameleons. So in the lizards la kuda pathina it is made up of scales, right? So now you learn what are the animals that have scales as a body covering. So what are the animals? Yes, lizards, chameleons, snake, fish, and of course crocodile, right? Yes. So first one cuticle, second one scales. Now let's see the third one. So the next one that we are going to see is the shell. So it is known as shell. SHELL. So the animals that have shell as a body covering. So what are the animals that has shell as a body covering? This one, what is this? Yes, snail, nattai they will say, right? So snail, turtle, 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 tortoise, TORTOISE, tortoise. This one is mollusk, MOLLUSE, mollusk. So these animals they have shell as a body covering. So you can see here in snail, right? So this is a shell. So when an animal detects, or if the animal feels some danger, if another animal is to prevent themselves from the enemies, so these animals protect themselves by hiding them into the shell. So you can see this is a shell, right? So snail and turtle will have the body covering shell. Tortoise, so tortoise will have a body covering shell. And then mollusk, so the mollusk also hide itself into the shell. So mostly in the beach and all we can see this type of animals, right? So shell, this shell is a body covering for these animals, right? So now what are the animals that has shell as a body covering? Yes, mollusk, tortoise, turtle and snail, right? So now let's see the next one. So feathers, what is feathers? Yes, iragugal they will say, right? So we cannot say all the animals will have feathers, only birds, right? So the birds have their body covering as feathers. So they are called as feathers. So let's write FEATHERS, feathers, right? So mostly all the birds, so birds have the body covering, they are called as feathers, right? So this feathers help the bird to fly and to protect themselves from the cold climate or heat, right. So, feathers are the body covering for the birds. So, next one, there are some animals that have, so now let us see the next one. So, fur, we can see fur on the bodies of bears and tiger. So, tiger and bear, they have body covering that is called as fur, right, and sheep, goat, they have their body covering that is called as wool. So, wool is the body covering of sheep and goat, fur is the body covering of bear and tiger, right. So, these are all the body coverings of those animals. So, what are the body coverings that we discussed now? The first one, yes, the first one scales, and then cuticle for the insects. So, insects have the body covering called cuticle, and fish, snake, crocodile, they have body covering as scales, and tortoise, turtle, snail, they have body covering as shell, right, and sheep, goat, they have the body covering as wool, and birds, they have the body covering as feathers. So, these feathers help the birds to fly and keep the birds warm, right. And also in the last we saw fur is the body covering of bear and tiger, right. So, now let us see one more effect of this body covering. So, that is known as camouflage. So, it is known as C-A-M-O-U-F-L-A-G-E. So, camouflage, C-A-M-O-U-F-L-A-G-E. So, camouflage means some animals, the body covering of those animals merge with the surroundings to protect themselves from the enemies. அதாவது அந்த அனிமல்ஸோட எனிமீஸ்லேருந்து தன்னை காப்பாற்றிக்கிறதுக்கோசம் அந்த அனிமல்ஸ் என்ன ஒரு இதுவை செயல்பாட்டை வந்து வெளிப்படுத்துமா, கேமோஃப்ளேஜ்ன்ற ஒரு செயல்பாடு. அது என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னா அதோட பாடி கவரிங் வந்து அந்த சர்ஃபேஸோட என்ன ஆகும், அது இருக்கிற இடத்தோட அப்படியே மர்ஜ் ஆகிடும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு உணர்வு தான் என்னன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, அந்த மாதிரியான மாற்றம் வந்து அந்த இங்கிலீஷில் என்னன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, camouflage. So, in your 2 marks they may ask what is camouflage. So, body covering of the animals merge with the surroundings or the environment to protect the animals from the dangers, right. So, you can see here, so this is a leaf insect. Idoda per enna leaf insect, right. So, usually insects are eaten by frogs or lizards, right. So, இப்போ இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு லீஃப் வந்து அந்த லீஃபோட லீஃபாக வந்து அந்த இன்செக்ட் வந்து இருக்கும்போது என்ன ஆகும், அந்த லிசர்டுக்கோ அந்த ஃப்ராகுக்கோ தெரியாது அது வந்து ஒரு இன்செக்ட் அப்படின்றது தெரியாமல் போயிடும். ஸோ தட் the leaf insect can protect themselves from the danger, right. And also you can see here, so here you can see a lizard. Actually there is a lizard, but it is the lizard body covering is merged with the stem or the trunk of the tree, right. So அந்த மரத்தோட அந்த தோல் மாதிரியே என்ன ஆகுது, அந்த lizardோட தோல் வந்து இருக்கிறதுனால it is difficult for the animals to find out, and thereby this animals protect themselves from the dangers, right. So that is known as camouflage. So leaf insect, lizard. So lizard also show the camouflage. And then chameleons. So CHAMEOLEON. So chameleons means pachondi they will say, right. So even that chameleons change the body covering in that according to the surrounding. இப்போ அது வந்து இலை மேலே இருந்ததுன்னா அது பச்சை கலரில் இருக்கும், மரத்து மேலே இந்த மாதிரி மரத்து மேலே இருந்ததுன்னா that chameleon will change into brown color, right. So likewise we can see some more animals, we will see some more animals that show camouflage. Example tiger. So tiger oda body வந்து கம்ப்ளீட்டாக சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிக்காது, பட் இருந்தாலும் they hide themselves in the grass, dried grass. So you can see mostly the tigers மற்ற deer எதனா ஒரு அனிமலை கில் பண்ணுறதுக்கு அட்டாக் பண்ணும்போது என்ன ஆகும், அப்படியே மறைஞ்சு அந்த கிராஸ், அந்த காஞ்ச கிராஸில் மறைஞ்சு என்ன பண்ணும், they hide themselves to the surroundings and thereby they hunt the animals. And then you can see the zebra. So here also there is a zebra is there, but we cannot easily identify. வேற எதனா அனிமல் பார்க்கும்போது அது டக்குன்னு அது வந்து அங்கே zebra இருக்குன்னு தெரியாமல் இருக்கும், right? So zebras, tiger, they also show camouflage. Now let's see how a chameleon show the camouflage. So you can see here, this is a chameleon, பச்சோந்தின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So it is green in color, but when it touches the rose color specks அங்கே வச்சிருக்காங்க. So see, so rose color வந்து வச்சிருக்காங்க. ஸோ அதை டச் பண்ணும்போது என்ன ஆகுது, க்ரீன் கலர் மாதிரி. இப்போ க்ரீன் கலர் ஸ்பெக்ஸ் வச்சாங்க அப்படின்னா அந்த ரோஸ் கலர் கெமிலியான் க்ரீன் கலர் ஸ்பெக்ஸ் டச் பண்ணும்போது க்ரீனாக மாறிது. ஸோ நவ் யூ கேன் see the effect here. So this effect is known as camouflage. So now they are changing. ஸோ இது இப்போ வந்து ரோஸ் கலரில் இருக்கு இல்லையா, இப்போ க்ரீன் கலரை டச் பண்ணும்போது இந்த கெமிலியான் என்ன மாறிடுது, க்ரீன் கலராக மாறிடுது. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் அ known as camouflage. சரியா, இங்கிலீஷில் வந்து camouflage அப்படின்னா not only animals show camouflage, animals மட்டும்தான் camouflage காட்டும்னு சொல்ல முடியாது, even there are plants also that show camouflage. சரியா, so இப்போ நம்ம animal world, we are seeing about animal world, so that is why we have to study what are the animals that show camouflage. Chameleon, leaf insect, even stick insect na kuchi mari irukku and puchi, right? So stick insect, lizard, tiger, zebra, so these animals show camouflage. So almost in this class you learned the body covering of the animal world, right? So animals oda body covering வந்து இந்த classல you learned, right? So what are the body coverings? Scales, cuticle, shell, fur, wool, feathers, these are all the body coverings. And through the body covering, there are some animals, they show camouflage. So அந்த body covering நால அந்த சில animals வந்து தன்னை காப்பாத்திக்கிறதுக்கோசம், enemies கிட்ட இருந்து காப்பாத்திக்கிறதுக்கோசம் they show a effect that is known as camouflage. Example, chameleon you saw, right? So in this lesson, in this part you learned about the body covering of the animals, right? So in the body covering வந்து favorable நல்ல கண்டிஷனாக இருந்தால் தான் அந்த அனிமலால் அந்த பிளேஸில் they can survive, அதால் வாழ முடியும், right? So கம்ஃபர்டபுளான பாடி கவரிங் இருந்தால் தான் அதால் அந்த இடத்துல வாழ முடியும், right? So hope this class will be useful and interesting. So you can even search some more animals, netla poidu just you search some more animals that show camouflage. So animals showing camouflage, if you search you can see so more animals that show camouflage, right? So thank you children for watching. Have a good day.